Evan,
Mm,
we have gotten through the NFL Combine this year. What are your thoughts on the best quarterback? Because I have a bold pick.
hmm. Best quarterback.
Yeah. Because in my mind, it's clearly Dylan Gabriel.
Okay, buddy. I see it. I see it. But
Yeah.
what the? Well.
Yeah, that was kind of a throwback to last week's. If everyone saw the Instagram slash social media post we put out there, I kind of got flamed. I got flamed for that. So I mean, obviously, I made a more educated second pick overall this time.
It's not that
But
it wasn't uneducated. It's just the fact that in any other year where
yeah,
there's not all these big names everywhere, Dylan Gabriel could get easily the number one quarterback off the board. It's
yeah,
just this year, it's just such an anomaly where teams are just basically picking at random and hoping they get who they want.
yeah, and it's one of those things that there is a lot of talent. We've kind of talked about this at nauseum. When it comes down to just like these guys are, it's kind of crazy how like loaded this draft is. We talked about quarterbacks. Let's talk your top quarterback pick this year for the combine. Based off what you saw
I
in the
mean,
combine so far.
cornerbacks really didn't do much, if I'm being honest. I mean,
Okay,
nothing of note like that. Yeah,
and only
we saw
some.
Jackson
Yeah,
Dart through 55-mile-an-hour dart, so to speak.
no pun intended.
Exactly. But honestly, I mean, a lot of them didn't really participate, if I'm being completely honest.
And that's what kind of brings me to this next point. Like we can talk about this and we'll get into this more in a second, but do you think the draft means less because less guys participated? Do you think like and due to like the draft becoming less and less important, do you think it's going to be one of those things that like in about 5 years it's going to be like, oh, people are skipping it even though they're a guaranteed first pick overall?
I mean, there's no guaranteed first overall pick, though.
Yeah.
They're never, I mean, no matter how good you are, like we look at other sports, there's like, oh my God, it's the next great thing. And
So
then
you think the draft or the combine, sorry, really separates, if you're a first round pick to a second round pick, or do you think there's
it
some guys
depends
that
on
are
the
in
position,
okay,
honestly, because think about it this way. You could be a quarterback or a running back or whatnot. Yeah, you might
okay,
not be like known as like in mainstream media,
yeah,
but say you have a phenomenal combine,
yeah,
then it puts yourself on the map. Because like
okay,
obviously there's NIL and a lot of the big games get that.
yeah,
But then there's those guys that are like not getting massive NIL, but
yeah,
they run amazing in the combine. There's your
okay,
basically
okay.
bridge between the combine and
The draft. Okay.
the
Yeah. No,
draft.
I look at it like this. You got guys like, for instance, Cam Ward didn't participate. His on the field film and the meetings matter the most. I think his body of work in college speaks for itself. Obviously,
Yeah,
the
but he
Senior Bowl.
also
No, but listen to this. Listen to this. Like the combine's only a test of strength, agility, and speed. Okay. Obviously, those are three important things when it comes to football, but it doesn't list the intangibles. And this is why we, for instance, in the quarterback position, we didn't see a lot of guys participate except in the throwing, because we know that when it comes down to it, that they have like they're like it's not very like X's and O's. It's more or less like this is athleticism. If you need to get that upper echelons, get boost that first or second round, you can do the draft or the combine fully. My mistake there. And then you run it like you were saying. I agree with you, but I think for these top guys like a Cam Ward, who, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in this draft. Who do you got as far as that
I mean,
guy?
the obvious answer is Cam Ward, but as we've seen it on tape, I mean, there's no clear number one. Dylan
Okay.
Gabriel is a great quarterback, but
Yes.
here's the thing. There's just so many names above
Yeah.
him, even though he had one of the most amazing seasons this past year.
The only argument for against Dylan Gabriel, and I could see it now, is I looked it up in draft analysis, is that he throws a lot of short passes, not a lot of deep throws down the field. Cam Ward, Jaden Milrow, and Sanders had that deep shot ability. Same with the Will Howard, even too. So like,
I
it
mean,
depends
yes,
on what you're
having a
looking
cannon's
for.
great, but like not every quarterback has a cannon like
Yeah.
Josh Allen. I mean, you look at some of the quarterbacks in the league these days. I mean, yes, Jared Goff can throw it deep, but I mean, he doesn't have a cannon.
No, and he's not mobile. So like
Exactly.
there is different strategies here for
Or,
different
I
teams.
mean, you look at Kenny Pickett, so to speak. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the comparison people have to, if I'm not mistaken, Shador.
Okay.
Shador is
Which is kind of crazy in my mind.
no,
Okay.
I see it completely. If you look at what Kenny Pickett was like in college, yeah, the Steelers drafted him. Couldn't tell you fucking why,
Yeah.
but Kenny Pickett threw it when he had to, but he relied on his legs. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know that. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude wore two gloves.
Yeah.
Most, if not all, quarterbacks only wear one glove. I mean, it kind of shows he was a runner through and through. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at Lamar. Lamar was people were saying, "Hey, you want to be a running back?" No one wanted him as a quarterback because he couldn't throw deep. He was
Yeah.
run. It took him a little bit to come in his zone. The thing with these guys is some of these quarterbacks don't pan out. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at the best speed quarterback we have currently right now in the league.
Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. Lamar Jackson, yes, he's won a good amount of MVPs, but what has he done in the playoffs?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can
That's
say
what
it
I'm
again.
saying. Mobile quarterbacks in this day and age. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of them, and yeah, it's the craze, but it doesn't translate to success. I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah.
obviously Josh Allen's success,
Yeah. No, and he hasn't really, I mean, done anything as
but he also
more
has to
than
deal with Mahomes
yeah, he
year in,
does.
year in, year
And
after
same
out.
with Lamar, but he has to deal with
Everything else.
Josh Allen and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying.
I honestly think Jackson Dart has
So,
what it takes to be the
what-
best quarterback.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. What you're arguing is that this draft is not so quarterback centric more than it is other positions. In your
Exactly.
mind, after your analysis, if your long analysis, what is the best position group out of this entire draft class? Because right now I'm kind of looking at, these combine leaders by position, and what I'm looking at right here, dude,
There's speed everywhere is the thing.
yes. I'm looking at the edge rushers though, and the way they've kind of done it.
So defensive
and
line, so to speak.
defensive line, edge rushers. I mean,
is edge considered
I'm talking
linebacker?
I'm talking Abdul Carter. I'm talking Arrizarike, JT from Ohio State, Pierce,
Right.
Mike
But,
Green,
like,
those
is
guys.
Edge, this is a question for you. Is
Yeah.
edge considered on the defensive line, or is it considered linebacker on the depth
I
chart,
would
so to
consider it
speak?
D line, because then if you plug in the down tackles, then you got guys like Mason Graham, Walter Nolan, T. Williams, Derek Herman, and then Kenneth Grant. So I think those two position groups are stellar
So then
when it comes to
defensive
it.
end is more like your
I would say that those are your pass rushers. Those are the
Okay.
guys you want to get after the quarterback.
'Cause,
These are the guys, the run stoppers, and sometimes pass
your
rushers as well.
outside linebackers,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Like a Hutch. I'm thinking Hutch.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hutch is listed at edge.
Or
but,
Miles Garrett, for instance.
right, but
yeah.
I know edge is a new position that they kind of introduced, even though
Yeah.
it's not actually a position. So do you
It's
see
just the D line. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because
Yeah.
I know some people consider it sometimes it's the left outside linebacker or
Yeah.
the rushing linebacker.
Okay.
Some people see it
Yeah.
as the defensive line. So I'm trying to see where you see it.
Yeah,
at.
definitely.
So
That's where I
defensive
see it.
line-
Yeah, D line. I think this D line is subpar none, the best we've seen in a while.
My argument with that is running back. I wanted to say D line
Okay.
too because yes, it's a wonderful defensive line class.
yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
I
also
see
see a lot of running backs that
Who in the running back department stands out to you as kind of like makes it the best position group?
I mean, not just names that ran in the combine. I mean, we have Ollie Gordon, who is from Oklahoma
Okay.
State, who was
Yeah.
supposed to be the next Barry Sanders, was projected to be, had a year this past year.
definitely.
Well, I mean, still was in the Heisman conversation last year.
Yeah.
Great running back. You have the two-headed monster from Ohio State, Judkins and Henderson.
Yes.
You have Omarion Hampton, who led the college football scene, not named Ashton Genty in rushing yards.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
I mean, to name Cam Scatterbo, the guy who
Yeah. The underdog.
throwing up on the sidelines against Texas. I mean,
Yeah.
then
and
I could
they
go
should have won
on-
that game, but we can go on.
I could go on and about
Okay.
Jaden Blue from Texas. I mean, I could go on with all these different
Donovan
names.
Edwards. No,
There you go. I mean, that's what
a
I'm
joke.
saying.
That's a joke of a take.
Yes.
But yeah,
I mean, to be
no,
fair,
I
I'm
think
sorry,
Edwards.
Donovan also did have less touchdowns than a defensive lineman from A&M.
I know, man.
Needless to say, Donovan, there's another one. I mean, The list goes on and on and
He
on.
had a great junior year. He should have went to the draft last year. In
He
my
peaked.
argument, he peaked. Yeah, and I
He
think
peaked in middle
it
school.
was also that one of those things that a lot of Michigan's players went to the draft last year as well. So I think that
A lot of
kind
players this year from Michigan should have went last year.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, you kind of have
You want
to
to run it back, run it,
Yeah.
see if you can win without Connor. I know.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Stallions wasn't the entire team.
He was watching the game that you guys won
Yeah.
against Maryland in the buzzer beater in basketball.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever, man. Whatever, little brother. Whatever. Keep working with
Little
whoever
brother,
you got
who
as
beat you in
quarterback.
basketball.
Yeah, we're talking football now.
I know.
We're talking football. We own you in football. But okay,
for now.
we talked about
But no,
running
I think
backs.
it's running backs or defensive line. If
Okay.
I'm being honest,
No, I can see that. I can
But-
definitely see that. What is your kind of estimate when it comes to this quarterback room? We kind of talked about it earlier. Who's your number one going into this draft?
I think it turned a little
Yeah,
Cam
but-
Ward a
yeah.
little bit.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you do draft someone other than a quarterback round one,
Yeah.
there is a lot of quarterbacks in this draft class that are very notable, very promising, very well-rounded quarterbacks.
Yeah, I
that
agree
you
with
could
that.
get day 2 or day 3 and not be like, damn, we just missed out on him. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of these guys, like Dylan Gabriel, could be.
Will Howard.
Nah,
I like Will. I think,
yes, but Jalen Milroe, you could say, is a little bit better. You could say Jackson
See,
Dart.
I think, when it comes to clutchness, because like I think one of the
yeah,
things that like
yes.
the 12-man playoff, what it really did for college football is that it allowed teams to play and see different squads. And I think Ohio State and the way Will Howard kind of kept the pedal to the metal after that Ohio State game and really just blew out teams was really crazy to see. Obviously, that Ohio State defense let Notre Dame back into that game. But we can have discussions about this. I think Will Howard's
There's
probably
just
a
a
really good
lot
upside.
of quarterbacks
Yeah,
in
I
this
agree.
draft that you can pick
I
up
see
at
that.
any point in the
Yeah.
draft, and that's the nice thing. It's not like it's a have to be a
Yeah.
quarterback. Like it's a quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like
So you think Cam Ward is obviously the number one overall quarterback in this draft?
that's going to get drafted first. Yes.
Okay.
Do I think he's going to produce the best? No.
Yeah, no, okay.
It's just it's there's so many good
Yeah.
guys that like if they get put into the right system, the sky's the limit there.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
thing.
For sure. Now, speaking of the sky and the guys you want to air the ball out to, who's you got going in the wide receiver area? Who's the number one wide receiver in this draft class?
Based off of what? Because you could give me two different answers.
Production. Let's go production.
I'm gonna be saying Matthew Golden
Yeah.
solely because of what we saw in the subsequent season, and B, just the college football
I'm
playoff.
going to say Mboku.
I
Yeah.
want to say Mbuka too, but at the same time, built like a. It's hard because like if you fit him in, he's not a true wide receiver one, and he's also not
Yeah.
a true slot guy. So you got to hope he gets drafted to a team that already has a bona fide one
Yeah.
or a bona fide X, so that he doesn't have to be number one. Because
Yeah.
in that Ohio State offense, he didn't have to be number one to produce.
For sure.
You
for
need
sure.
him to be like that slot guy. So like
Yeah.
that Jordan Addison to the Justin
Yeah,
Jefferson.
I
You
agree
need
with
him
that. Yeah.
to basically be that number two. So like if say your number one gets a bunch of like targets or like basically
Yeah.
disguise it, he thrived when other teams would cover Jeremiah Smith, leaving
Mhm.
him completely wide open.
All right. We talked about teams that really need, and need that production from that star guy.
My star guy, honestly, is Territory McMillan.
Okay.
The preseason Heisman not favorite, but like at least preseason All-American was still an All-American, but
Okay.
has been compared closely to Megatron. I mean, the dude is 6'5",
Okay,
215. I mean, the size and speed. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
great receiver. He's projected to go first receiver off the board.
Which is okay. Yeah. No, I see
But
that.
it's just it's interesting because like all these guys are so good, so fast.
Yeah.
But if you get drafted to the wrong team, I mean, we saw with John Ross, I don't know, God, 10 years ago now?
Yeah. That was tough.
I mean,
to watch.
he broke the combine record at the time. And I mean, now he's in, I think, the
Yeah.
CFL. I mean, you look at Henry Ruggs. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude was blazing speed. He used his speed for another reason.
Ah,
but
Jesus.
now he's locked up in jail. So
yeah. I mean,
speed
it's
kills and other ways
Yeah.
to run.
and I
so-
think when it comes down to speed, but also strength here. Now we're talking about the big boys up front in the tight ends. And I think, you talked about production numbers from some of these guys, especially the guy from Texas. I think a guy that arguably could be the number one in the tight end category, Colson Loveland. He was
Okay, little
a lot,
brother.
a lot, a
Okay,
lot, a
little
lot
brother.
of film on him, a lot of film on Colson. Obviously,
Colson's a great tight end, but you still got to remember, Tyler Warren from Penn State still has his
he
number.
does. I do
We
think,
saw it in when they played Notre Dame. The dude
Yeah.
was in the Wildcat and
yeah.
still got 10 yards off
And
it.
I think that strength. I think Colson Loveland obviously is a good
He's a great
passing wide receiver.
receiving.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly what
He's
I was going to say.
I want to compare him closely. I mean, I don't know if this is accurate enough yet, or it might be bold state.
Are you going to say Travis Kelce?
Fuck no.
Okay, who are you going to say then?
George Kittle.
I would compare Tyler Warren to George Kittle because not the long hair, but the instance he
No.
loves the block and he loves to do those positions and whatnot.
Yes,
So,
but here's the thing.
Oh.
George Kittle's
holy shit. The Jaguars are releasing Evan Ingram. So,
I'm not that surprised. He's been very injury prone, and
Yeah.
they need a reset.
okay, yeah. So,
And no, they're not going
now-
tight end. They're not going.
Okay,
they're not
okay,
going
okay.
tight
That
end.
was going to be my next
No.
point. Okay.
No, the Jags need everything, and let's be real, they need more than just a tight end.
Okay, for sure.
And here's the thing: there's quite a good tight ends. I mean, you have the guy who led all of FBS with the most receiving yards as a tight end, and who went to Bowling Green, Harold Fannin.
Yeah, that kid's a dog. We played him in Western. I was like, holy shit.
I cooked you when we played 25.
Yeah,
with
that
us.
was
I mean, the sky's the limit. I think Tyler Warren, if I'm being honest, is more of a Kelsey thing
okay.
because
Interesting. I would say the other way around, but yeah.
well, because Kelsey can block when he has to. He's receiving when he has to.
Yes.
But Kelsey, in his prime, was an athlete. He was
Yeah.
built like a Tony Gonzalez, like built a little heavier than most, and just physical.
No, I
George
fully,
Kittle is more like a mini receiver in a way.
Yeah. I do agree.
Yes, he blocks and he's great at blocking, but the dude, put him in open space, the dude
Yeah.
makes yak.
Yeah, definitely. I see that as well. Let's kind of open up the floor here and get the real big boys in. The tackles and
positions?
offensive guards and centers. Who is kind of your favorite out of those three? And then we can move to linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties before moving into our own draft. So who you got out
Antonio
of the big?
Pop out of Holland, Michigan.
Oh yeah, let's go, baby. I'm going.
No.
Where am I going?
You're going to the Jags.
Oh God, Duval.
Liam Cohen, you are forever engraved in our memories.
Yes, thank you for that.
But
Thank you.
anyway, I honestly think Will Campbell, the guy from
Okay, LSU. Yeah.
the kid it's insane. I mean,
Yeah.
the kid hasn't allowed a sack in over 3 years. I mean,
Yeah.
it's impressive.
Yeah.
If you're sick, and keep this in mind, the dude is 6'8", 360 pounds.
Yeah, that's
Just
crazy.
I would be like, oh, hi. I'm
Yeah,
5'10", and this guy's almost a foot taller than me.
yeah, that's insane.
That's scary. And the kid's 20.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, oh, hi.
Yeah. No,
I can't have a beer with you, but you can probably crush my head.
Yeah. Seriously.
Or Kelvin Banks are interchangeably, honestly.
Okay. So I'm going interior guard, just for the utility of it because I was a guard and I understand how much trap plays work. And
Are you
how-
going the Giant himself?
Who's that?
He's from Georgia.
Oh yeah, Tate Rutledge. That's I was gonna say, who's that coming down the track?
I was going to say that
Pat
bad
McAfee,
boy.
but yeah, that I mean,
The
just-
dude's 6'9",
Yeah.
playing offensive guard. I mean,
yeah,
the stereotypical offensive guard is pop size.
a
Just
little taller, please, like 6'5", but like, yeah, no, right
the
around.
average for NFL players these days are like
yeah.
6'3", I thought. I could be completely wrong, but last I checked, all guards are like 6.
Okay, the average NFL guard size about 315, and okay, offensive lineman response. Their guard can be as tall as 6.
Well, yeah, as large, but I'm saying
Okay,
average.
yeah,
is
let's go. Okay,
probably-
let's go by
Or I might be thinking, because like most guards, they shouldn't be that big. That's tackle size.
I mean, 6'5", anywhere. Like usually, you got your big guys on the outside, the tall towers. Then you got the more short, stocky guys
That's
going.
why I said 6'3".
Yeah, no, okay, but I'm 6'2", like on a
Yeah,
good
but
day.
your size.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like obviously, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Who do you got? Now that we kind of identified as
I was
our
gonna say Tate Ratledge is. Oh God, just imagine you're a freaking interior defensive tackle and you're literally like,
yeah, you're
oh,
like, hello.
just imagine Will Campbell and Tate Ratledge on the same offensive line.
Yeah, that'd be scary. Left guard, left tackle. That's like okay.
You got two
Yeah.
7-footers. It's like you're playing
The
basketball.
problem is though with that is that like quarterbacks only get to a certain height, and then like if they're blocking, getting the ball over them because like then you
Okay,
have
Kyler
like
Murray.
yeah. Well, I don't know where he's gonna go.
He's not.
So
Oh, I know. That's why Kyler Murray plays the pod
yes.
so he can see. Oh, that's where someone is.
Jesus. Alrighty. Well, let's move on to the guys who bring the thunder, the Thunderdome hitters,
Thunder
the
thighs.
Thunder Thighs, the
Thunder thighs save
linebackers.
lives.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you got in the linebacking crew for this draft class?
I want to say Jahadi Campbell,
Okay.
not
Okay.
to be described with other things,
You know,
but
I really like the Georgia guys. I like Jalen Walker.
speaking of him, he literally had a quote the other day, or it could be Michael Williams, one of the two, saying,
Yeah.
I played injured all year. Interesting. Interesting.
He's
And
still produced, man.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but the fact that he's like, yeah, I played on an injured leg all year, it's like, I don't think anyone from Kirby Smart's team wants
I mean, you
to
got
hear
38
that.
solo tackles and 6.5 sacks. I mean, the guy was deadly.
I know, but if you're Kirby Smart, you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, you don't.
You
You
don't
don't.
want to hear
You
like,
don't.
hey, yeah, hey, coach, yeah, I've been playing on a broken leg all year.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, what?
Yeah, it's like,
How
huh?
much Vicodin have you been shaking, boy?
Yeah.
A
It's like-
Vicodin
it's-
a
it's
day
like-
keeps the doctor right, I guess.
it's
but
like- It's like Aaron Rodgers. What drug do you ever play on Percocet? It's like what?
oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers is.
You've seen that
Oh,
highlight reel.
yeah.
Yeah, that dude's crazy.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is a hippie.
He
Rodgers
is.
a hippie.
He
Speaking of
is.
Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have a team anymore.
He doesn't, and that we'll talk about that in
That's a shame.
after our draft pick. But that'll be very interesting. Let's move to
You should just move
cornerbacks
it
and
as a
safeties.
Sherpa.
Who do you got in the cornerback and safety room as the best of those two positions?
Are you combining them or are you just,
I'm combining them.
Okay, good.
DBs,
TBs?
which can stand for two different things. Okay, but yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Exactly.
Boy.
All right. All right.
I know everyone's like, oh, choose Travis Hunter. Choose Travis Hunter. Fuck no. No. I'm sorry.
I would have to agree with you. I think he's too skinny and small to be in that
I
consideration.
think he gets folded like a lawn chair and never plays it down in football.
Okay. Let's take the rage and put it back
I
in the
have
box.
no rage. I'm just saying,
Okay.
dude, I mean, yeah, he won the Heisman, but like,
Yeah.
the dude wasn't something special. I mean,
I
yeah,
agree.
He played great, but like,
Yeah.
the NFL is gonna just show him, be like,
Yeah.
hello, world.
My two picks is not in the cornerback room. Who do you got?
Same.
Okay, who you got for your top of the
Malachi
DBs?
Starks.
Malachi Starks. Okay, I
The
got
dude controlled Georgia so well. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude was the heart and soul of the entire league.
I got
would
Nick.
say Caleb Downs, but
Okay.
but unfortunately, he's not in the draft.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, only because he is a sophomore. He's a
Yeah.
little youngin'.
Yeah, he is.
But I mean, coming 2 years from now, oh, absolutely, yeah, you'll see me
Yeah.
take Caleb Downs, 100%. But
Definitely.
I think Malachi Starks is the clear cut number
Okay.
one. Number two is, I would say, I think I'm going to take yours as well as a South Carolina product himself.
Okay. Number 3 obviously is Xavier Watts. I like the guy from Notre Dame. I think he's a
Shit,
really
I
good.
totally forgot about Watts.
So I mean, but you could
Watts,
argue
I
Nick
would-
or Xavier. So like that's
Watts.
one of
I would say Watts. is
okay,
two.
Watts over.
Wa-
I like Nick because of his size and because he's so physical from that position. He has
Watts,
good
though,
eyes.
too, is just rangy.
Yeah, but think of a 6'3", safety. I mean, I like that
I
more
do
than
love that too.
because
I
then
do
you
love
don't have
that
to
too.
jump so far, and it takes like I saw some plays from Nick, in film, and I was like, wow, this kid's lengthy. I mean, obviously, if you're that tall and you're playing in the cornerback position or DB position, you're gonna have some issues with your hands. But I think that's
Not
kind of
necessarily though. Some of the best we've seen in recent memory are a little bit on
Yeah.
the bigger side.
for sure. Alrighty, well, now that we've kind of gone position by position, let's go through kind of what are you gonna do? First 15 picks, or you want to go through the
Yeah,
full
we go the
list?
full round.
Okay, the full first round. Here we go. Who do we got coming off the back from Tennessee?
I want them to trade it, honestly.
Yeah, same here. But like, if we
But
had
if-
to say Tennessee has to pick that,
I think Abdul Carter still
Okay,
is
yeah.
1-1. I mean, obviously,
you can make an argument for Cam Ward, but
yes, you can. But at the same time, Tennessee needs something to
Yeah.
put them back to where they need to
okay,
be.
I have
Mike-
the same. So
Mike Vrabel is a great coach. He's a defensive minded
Yeah.
coach. So I honestly think he's probably going to stick with defense.
Okay.
And I think with that, he's going defense.
Okay. So Abdul Carter from Penn State going number 1. I got obviously Cam Ward going to number 2.
As do I.
I
I mean,
switched it up from
as they
Dylan Gabriel.
right. As they choose,
Haters out there.
I mean, yeah, if you choose Cam Ward 1 or 2 to Cleveland, I mean, I honestly, there's so many good quarterbacks out there. Like it, I mean,
You could pick later. Yeah.
exactly
definitely.
if you choose
Yeah.
you choose to go
But you
somewhere
got
else.
3 going with the Giants.
I have them trading
Okay.
with New England Patriots, so they're flipping it
Okay.
and picking Will Campbell.
Okay. I got Travis Hunter going to New York. They need cornerback help desperately.
But like you just said a little bit ago,
Yeah.
Travis Hunter.
I mean, but I think, he won the Heisman. I think New York looks for those big, flashy stars. And I think coming from an attitude like Dion and having that attitude where I'm the guy. I think, his attitude.
You're not
will
that
either,
guy.
Yeah,
You're not that guy.
I agree, but I think New York fans want Travis Hunter or even a Shador Sanders in that room. So I got at 4. I have the Patriots still there. I have them picking Ashton Genty. They need a back to pick up with Drake May and kind of get that dynamic offense going. I think that's a good pickup for the Patriots. Who do you got going to the Pats?
I have Territorial McMillan.
Okay.
I mean, you said Drake May needs a weapon.
Yeah.
Let's give him a receiver instead.
I agree. I mean, but
Little Randy Brady. For a
I like that. I like that. That's a good pickup. Who do you got going to Duval?
I think we both have the same thing.
Yeah, Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be a good pickup for.
I mean, if you're Jacksonville, you need all the help you can get.
Or you need an offensive lineman.
I mean, honestly, yes, but at the same time, there's also good free agency you can do. I mean, if you're in Duval, you need help no matter what.
Yeah, for real.
So why not start from the back end and go from there?
I got number 6. I got McMillan going to the Raiders.
I have Genty because think about it this way.
No.
They still do have not terrible receiving core. And I mean, yeah, you have Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers is a true blocking tight end. What would a true blocking tight end want on his team? A 1 through 3 down running back.
Yeah.
Would not hurt you in the slightest.
Yeah. Let me run you through my 7 through 10 and we'll do the same. I got JD Byron.
I got Jahade as well.
Jahade, thank you. Jeez, I'm terrible with names.
I got Barron as well.
Yeah. I got Kenneth Grant going to the Panthers. I can
see it. It's just hard because they also do already have a stout stout, but they have a decent defensive line.
And, we talk about those tight ends. I got Taylor Warren, but that could be interchangeable with Colson Loveland there. I think, what the Saints need.
Okay.
Okay. And then my 10, this may be shocking to people out there, but I got Cam Scatterbo. I think they like the swift back for the speed. And I think Cam Scatterbo is one of those guys, hard-hitting guy, obviously a guy that will put his body on the line. We saw his dedication versus the Texas game, puking on the sidelines. Like, that's a leader that I want in that, especially if you're a Ben Johnson. He's got that, Sonic and Knuckles type part too.
But so my 7 through 10, I do have Barron as well, like you do.
Nice.
I think James Pierce out of Tennessee does go to Carolina because they were the worst team in the league when it came to defensive pressure.
Yeah.
You need to do something about that. You traded away Brian Burns last year to the Giants. All you had was an injured Derek Brown, who by the middle of the season was already gone for the season. So you're looking at second string who? So if you need to shore up that defensive line, especially with the fact that you traded away Brian Burns in the middle of the year.
Fully agree.
Number 9, I have Luther Burden because if you have that 1-2 of Olave, who
so
Olave's great.
We're both going offensive kind of wide receiver threats. I like Tyler Warren there because he's getting compared to Jason Kittle or not Jason Kittle, but Kittle or Kelsey.
Yeah, but think about it this way: if Olave's hurt, I mean, then you've got yourself Luther Burden who can step in the 1.
Yeah,
Olave gets too many concussions. So my thought is, if you get a receiver that can be that wide receiver 1, say he gets another concussion.
Yeah, I like that. That's smart.
It can fill in, replace, and not hurt yourself because
definitely
we saw for most of the year.
Do you think that guy's going to be able to adjust that quickly to the league where he's playing Chris Olave snaps?
I would assume so. I mean, the dude is a physical enough receiver. I mean, we didn't see it, unfortunately, this past year, but last year he showed that the dude is a dog.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my 10, I have the Bears going Mike Green out of Marshall. I mean,
Okay,
yes,
that's a reach. I mean, in
it's
my
not that
mind,
much of a
because
reach
well, it's a
because
reach in my mind. Sorry for, I mean,
go
but
on.
one of my things is that he played at Marshall, and even though that's not like a big, known school, we got some great players that came from Marshall, most notably Randy Moss. But
Mhm.
like one of my things is that like playing against a Josh Simmons, a Will Campbell, and guys like Tate Ratledge, like that sets you apart from the like guys like
Right, but to your point then, I mean, what about Ashton Genty? Why does he get to go so high? I mean, he came from Boise.
because
I know he's
because
made competition,
it's
but
still one
still.
of those things that it's not more or less one-on-one structure. Like these holes will still open up in the league, and Genty will be able to hit it. Where I feel
Right.
like those one-on-one structures, when you put a guy like Mike Green in those structures, he's going to struggle versus some of the bigger guys in the league because it's just the size difference. Like you could even see it from a Western to a Michigan, like respectively. Like there is a different level of athlete that goes to these premier D1 schools, and that's why I think Mike Green falls to a 19 to Tampa Bay. But yeah, no, I think he's a good athlete. I just don't think take a risk that early in the draft.
Fair. Who do you have at 11?
11, I have Membu, tackle. The San Francisco needs to protect Brock Purdy. And they would really shore up that line having a tackle coming from the draft last year.
I would
So I
go
think
the
that would.
same, but I also have Kelvin Banks. The
Okay.
reason I
Yeah.
don't have
So
Membu is because Membu is more pass pro,
yeah.
and we just saw that Niners are already traded away Debo to
Yeah.
the Commies, and Brandon Ayuk has been gifted a request for a trade.
Okay. So they're
If
getting
you're
rid of
going pass pro, who are you throwing it to then? Kittle?
Yeah, yeah, just
get
give
what
it
I'm
to
saying,
Kittle.
though?
Man, he's
So-
national tight end day
my thought
every
is-
day.
Well, yes, but my thought is this: you have CMC still. Maybe
Yeah,
protect
But
both of them.
okay, yeah, no, I agree. I think that's smart, but I
do
think
have Memphis
CMC
going
is
one
gonna
pick later
retire. I think he's very injury prone. I think that
this year or at the end. Of
at
this
the
year?
end, especially if
Okay.
he gets injured again, which I think is highly likely. Once you
Oh.
tear your ACL once, you tear it again. That's just how it's gonna
I've done it
go.
3 times. So
Yeah,
trust
I
me,
mean,
believe me,
it just keeps
sucks.
getting easier. Who do you got
Yeah.
your 12? Because
I
I
do have
got
Membu.
Luther. Okay, I got Luther Burden going to Dallas. I think
You have him
Dak
going to
needs.
Jerry World.
Yeah, I think that
Why?
because Dak needs help.
Dak has CD.
Yeah, but CD isn't performing.
CD's nuts, buddy.
I- All right.
Membu.
All right.
Membu. He needs help. Yes.
where's the crickets button on this thing?
I don't know.
All right,
Somewhere over
let me
here.
look. Okay.
But I think Membu, just because if you think about it this way, you need to protect Dak. Fine. If Dak gets protected, you also had Zach Martin just retire this past year. Membu can move into the guard position. And he did that
Okay.
for half
Yeah,
the
no,
year
I
in
see that.
Mizzou. You move into where Zach Martin was.
Yeah,
You've so to speak solved your
Okay.
offensive line problem.
definitely.
And then which in turn, hopefully, if you're Dallas and Jerry World, produces some wins.
Okay. Give me your 12 through
13, you mean?
Oh, 13 through
15? Or 13 through 16.
Let's go 13 through 16. Give me 3 picks right in a row.
Yeah. I have Malachi Starks going to Miami.
Okay.
I mean, in that conference, in that division, no less, you have
Yeah.
speed everywhere. You got Xavier Worley of the Chiefs. You've got
Yeah, that's a
Jamar Chase out of Bengals.
yeah.
You need a run stopping safety that can play like a Brian Dawkins and knock you on your ass.
That's a viable pick. Who do you got going 14 to the Colts?
I have Tyler Warren. It's
Okay.
It's clear
Yeah,
cut.
no, so
Another
that's-
Dallas Clark. I mean, this team needs a little spark. I mean,
I
they
agree.
have some
I
good
agree.
receivers. They have Jonathan Taylor. God forbid Anthony
Okay.
Richardson
Yeah.
actually does something right.
Who
for
do you got
once.
going 15 to the Falcons?
I have Jahadi Campbell.
Okay.
They should have went linebacker last year. They shouldn't have drafted Penix last year.
Okay.
It was an absolute reach and a half. They could
Yeah.
have gotten him around 2, and it could have been totally fine.
Yeah.
But they need linebacker help. They needed it last year, and sure as hell they didn't even go for it. So
Who do
And-
you got 16 going to the Cardinals?
I have Kyler Murray protection, Josh Simmons. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
yes,
No.
he's a big boy, and hopefully Kyler can see over him.
Probably not.
But no, Kyler can't see over the broadside of a barn or even his COD controller. But that's a different story, a different day.
Wow. Okay.
But he needs protection,
Yeah.
especially because all he does is like to go.
Yeah, definitely. I went there too. Let me go through my picks. You took speed on the outside with your cornerback there. I took protection for Tua Tagovailoa. I picked
Tua's going to
Will.
retire at the end of the year. Bold statement.
Okay, that's. I mean,
I'll be honest. Tua should have retired this past year because he's had too much concussions and has almost seen the Lord and Jesus Christ twice in his lifetime.
Okay, yeah. I mean that is definitely a take. I said Will Campbell to protect against
I
Tua
don't
getting
think
hurt
Will's
like
dropping
that.
that hard.
Okay, but we'll see. Obviously, and
Not
then
as
14.
hard as Tua dropped to the ground last year.
Wow. Okay, folks, we're going there today. Someone's unchained. No, but
Something wrong with that?
yeah, no, there's nothing. But I got. Speaking of change, I'm thinking that we got Colston Loveland, so I went tight end as well to the Colts. I went differently, and I said, you know what? Let's go Mbeku to the Falcons. I think Michael Penix Jr. needs a threat,
Or
and that's his
Kirko.
deep threat. Or yeah, I mean, I see Kirko going bye bye.
But that's the
yeah,
issue. That's the issue why they drafted Pence. It's like you literally paid Kirko,
yeah. No,
and then you're
I
like,
see what you're
oh,
saying,
I'm just
man.
going to draft Penix. It's like,
Yeah, no, I completely see what you're
What?
saying. Exactly, I see what you're saying. Now I got same thing. Tate Rutledge though going to the Cardinals.
So
And then
even
let me
bigger.
go through my 16 through 21. I got Matthew Golden to the Bengals. I think him, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. That marriage is going to be beautiful.
marriage.
I think the Seahawks need a center. Jared Wilson is that guy there. I had Mike Green going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I had Jahir Campbell going 20 overall to the Broncos.
Interesting.
What do you think
So-
about those picks?
Interesting. I have Kenneth Grant going to the Bengals.
Okay.
I mean, they for the second year in a row re-signed T. Higgins to
Yeah.
a franchise tag, which just pay the dude. For fuck's
Yeah.
sake, pay the dude. It's
For real.
You have the money to do it. Just pay the dude.
Yeah.
I have Donovan Ezeriki out of Boston College going to
Okay.
Seattle. I want to bring back that defensive line. I mean, the AFC,
The Legion of Boom.
it would be great. I mean, their defense last year was great.
Yeah.
If they just did not have that upfront presence that they needed.
Yeah.
I
Most
have,
definitely.
and I have your boy Travis Hunter dropping to 19.
Okay.
I think, I mean, it called me crazy, but at the same time, the dude, yeah, he's a little bit undersized and a little underweight. I think if he puts on a little weight, gets bigger, he could thrive as in that system.
I do agree. And I reason why I put Travis Hunter at 3 is because his feet. He is so quick when it comes to zone coverages and breaking out of those.
But
and
just
intercepting
imagine
balls,
imagine Antoine Winfield Jr. as your mentor.
that
dude has
definitely is a
wonderful-
lot better of a place for Travis if he wants to go to that next level and become that elite cornerback. I agree with
Everyone
you.
was saying that Antoine Winfield Jr. when he was picked it was undersized
Yeah.
and too short, too small,
Yeah.
and whatnot. The dude's now been in the Pro Bowl the past 4 years.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a great grind line there. I'm going to say 20.
My pick 20 is your boy, Colston Loveland.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can
I'll
see.
take it.
My
My
fear with-
picking little brother.
My fear with Colston there is going the Jake Butt route and, that fear. But I mean, that's just, more or less paranoia from me. One of
Oh,
my
yeah.
things is that, let's go down 21 through, let's go 30. Let's go 10 in a row here, or 9 in a row. I got Shador Sanders going to the Steelers. They need
Why,
quarterback
though?
help. They need
Yeah, but
quarterback
they have
help.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, but I think Shador Sanders with his ability to throw downfield to those wide receivers
So
there.
another Kenny Pickett based on my comparison.
Well, maybe, but
That we
I
all
think
saw.
the ability, having Justin Fields' ability to scramble, his time in the pocket, being able to make decisive throws downfield, smart with the ball. We've seen him.
Then do you convert Justin Fields to a receiver?
I would convert him. Yeah, maybe. But you got to get rid of Russ. I think there's a lot of
that's
questions.
That's a given. You
it's-
got to
it's-
let little
yeah.
Cook man.
It's
Go back.
obviously interesting that the Steelers say their first needs a quarterback and there because it's like you're having 3 quarterbacks go for a position battle, which is interesting. But you could trade up or trade down and see if you can get more talent at that quarterback,
Yeah.
young talent at that quarterback
Yeah,
position.
I could see it too.
I got Quinton Junction going to the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh respects the Ohio State running game, and I think that he likes a downhill guy. Now, I know J.K. Dobbins, that's the argument. Why would you pick a running back there? He is injury prone. I understand that people are like, oh, he'll be fine. But look at, for instance, Christian McCaffrey. Running backs, when they do get injured like that and they keep, kind of getting that bug every year, I think having more padded people in that area will help. In Junction, is a hard runner, kind of like a Cam Scatterbell type of
Okay.
runner. So that's where I went there. 23, I went Higgins. I think that the Iowa State product
Higgins.
is one of those things that, if you're Jalen Love, you need help in Green Bay because those guys keep dropping
He
balls.
needs some milk.
Yeah, no. And then I got your guy, James Pierce, going to the Vikings. The big people, purple eaters, with their blitzing defense, are going to utilize him in ways that I'm scared as a Lions fan to realize keeps me up at night. Then I got Will
A
Johnson.
lot of things keep you up. For
For real. I got Will Johnson going to the Texans, and then I got tackle Josh Simmons to protect Matthew Stafford going 26. Donovan Uzureke going to the Baltimore Ravens, and then Mike Williams, defensive end, going to the Lions. 29. Eric Ilmore, wide receiver, going to the Commander. No, yeah, the Commanders.
Yeah, if you want him to go to the Commies, they just got Debo. So what's the point?
Because Debo is a little bit older, upwards in age.
Is he though?
I believe so. I
I mean,
mean,
Debo's only like 27. Which is not that
I
old.
thought he was older.
There's
Hold
no
up.
way.
Let's
He's older.
He's 29, brother.
Okay,
2 years. But like, yeah, he's getting old.
Okay.
He's gonna turn 30 this year, probably. I mean, that's one of my things is that youth with Josh with Daniels is gonna help. That's gonna help you extremely.
Right.
And that's where I went with it, and the speed as well. And then 30, I got Derek Herman from Oregon going there. And I like that pick because they need to solidify that defensive line that struggled versus the tush push and other things. When for instance, they ran some third down stuff. I think at least the Chiefs ran some third down stuff. It was tough for that defensive line to get to that quarterback and stuff. So that's where I went with Derek because he's a center guy and he can really plug holes. So that's where I went with that. Let me just polish it off here.
Oh, that's fine. I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah. Going to the dreaded Chiefs here, I got Bakes to protect good old Patty Mahomes, and then for the Chiefs, it's okay.
You are glazing him.
I mean, he needs some protection. Obviously, you
need protection. buddy.
Okay, let's chill here now. Then I got 32. I got Shimmer Stewart going from A&M to the Eagles. Who do you got for your last, ish picks, 10-ish picks?
To polish it off, I have Emeka Buka going to the Chargers. They need a wide receiver one. I mean, Lad McConkey did great this past year.
I just went with need there, but yeah.
But at the same time, it wouldn't hurt to have a true 1 and 2, or at least someone that's able to play
doubt.
that more role.
Yeah.
Next, I do have the Packers saying deuces with Matthew Golden, the speed demon himself. I think the Packers, like you said, need offensive help. And I think speed on that edge is paramount if you want to win. I mean, yes, he's a little bit undersized, but at the same time, you could put him at the Y and just let him fly. I think, truthfully, the Vikings do go defense. I do think they go Derek Harmon, if I'm being honest. The stud out of Oregon would not hurt at all. I think they do need that, like you said, with the blitzing help. I think Derek Harmon is a little more blitzing defensive interior lineman. It works. I have the Texans going Walter Nolan. I mean, that defensive line it was good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need more defensive prowess if you want to beat the likes of Patrick Mahomes.
And that's where I went Will Johnson to defend that in the secondary. But
I have Jalen Walker, Mr. Injury himself, going to Rams, which, I mean, we saw they have a great defensive front.
Yeah.
But when it came down to stopping Saquon Barkley, not a single linebacker could stop him.
Okay.
So I think they're still going defense because obviously they're finally getting first round picks for the first time in 4 years.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Their first round pick was last year. And
That's
that
crazy.
was 5 years ago is the first time they had him.
But you got 27.
I have Michael Williams, the edge out of Georgia. I mean, Georgia's...
I had him going 28 to Detroit. So
I think, truthfully, if you are Baltimore, you need defensive line help.
Yeah.
And it's more the edge on the speed rather than full on power. You have already a great interior line. You just need someone to be able to set the edge. And to set the edge, I think Shimmer Stewart goes to Detroit. I mean, the dude is, imagine
Yeah.
this. You got a 6'7" Hutch and a 6'8" Shermer
Yeah,
Stewart
I like that.
on either end. It's a bend don't break two towers esque thing where you're coming in and crash. Huh? I couldn't even hear you.
It's a monster of a line. I
Oh,
said,
yes.
yeah. All right.
And unlike the two towers, you guys won't fall.
Jesus.
I have,
Okay.
moving to Washington, funny enough, I have
Oh my.
the tackle Gray Zabel. The dude is a monster of a human being, and honestly, what PFF has him put
Yeah.
at is arguably the best tackle in this thing, which I don't see. But I mean, hey, protect Jaden Daniels is
Yeah.
all you need to do, because I mean, the dude, if it wasn't for Josh Allen playing out of his mind, probably would have won MVP if I'm
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah, most
Next,
definitely.
I have Trey Amos. I mean, the dude
Okay.
had a phenomenal combine, and I mean, he showed a lot of people that he is capable of round one. And if you are
Yeah.
Buffalo, what do you need most? You need some secondary help. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
especially
I
if Mahomes
think
is going to try to
D-line
throw
is
something,
yeah.
you can stop it.
You can either go attack them up front or the secondary, but we see defense is the need for Buffalo. I agree with that.
I do, and like to your point, defensive line, it's such a deep class this year.
Yeah, you can get
You can
them
get
later
guys
in
down the
rounds.
road.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, yeah, I see that. That's smart.
Unfortunately, to protect good old Patty Mahomes, I do have Josh Connolly.
Okay,
I mean,
so we both went there.
yeah, he's obviously losing Joe Tooney to the Bears in the past week.
That's gonna suck.
You need something.
Yeah.
Caleb loves it.
Yeah.
And then I have the combine freak himself, Landon Jackson, going to
Okay.
Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
He's an edge, and obviously you have a lot of free agents, a lot of
Yeah.
them on the defensive line. You also have Brandon Graham, who just retired this past year.
Indeed.
So
So
you need to replace someone to be that replacement freak
Yeah.
athlete on the edge in his absence, so that you guys basically don't lose a step. So to
I
speak.
fully agree. I think those are both very intelligent first round drafts. Keep tuning in to these episodes as we'll keep updating our drafts as more information come out. I want to thank everyone for listening in on this episode, and please in the comments below, flame both of us if you thought a pick was outrageous or whatnot, because obviously we both deserve it. And let us know if we need to look at different articles or whatnot. We love the advice from the fans. We want to thank you for joining and have a great night.
Enjoy, friends.